Hi, this is Ignorance is Bliss. I'm Lisa.
I'm Farah.
And I'm Hodan.
And today we're talking about cancel culture. Hodan, what do you make of that term?
So for me, cancel culture is about somebody putting their foot out of place, and I mean a celebrity because you wouldn't really know about it elsewhere in private relationships, and I would say the internet coming after them. So basically shutting down all kind of conversation about coming from that person. So literally, we don't want to hear from you, we don't want to hear what you've got to say, you've done something wrong, closed, end of discussion. So for me, cancel culture is quite toxic, and it's become, I think it's a new thing, very new, but I think it has a place, but we'll talk about that a little bit later.
My interpretation of the phrase itself, cancel culture, is describing a phenomenon, much like you said, where we kind of, that serves to shut someone down, and it can happen in lots of different ways. We can cancel people in different ways, right? We can say you no longer have a platform to share your opinion, to share your views, you no longer have a job.
Right, exactly.
Or you no longer have this role. And I think it's not just kind of celebrities. I think we use it in everyday lives as well, because we can cancel people. And I think that's a thing that is happening a lot more nowadays. I also think, yes, celebrities or kind of well-known people, and also companies, I think as well, can get cancelled. What about you, Farah? What do you think?
Yeah, similar. So I think cancel culture is just calling out offensive behaviour, and then potentially boycotting someone's work. I would say it's both for celebrities and your average Joe. So if you, for example, if someone has tweeted something offensive, their actions, their behaviour, whatever it might be, you may withdraw your support for that person.
Okay, so for you it's just about withdrawing
support
for that person.
Yeah, but also it could go on to things like boycotting that person. So you're no longer, let's say it's an artist, you're no longer buying their music, you're no longer, I don't know, going to their tours, etc. So complete cancellation of that person.
You said something there that I want to pick up on. You said for saying something offensive.
Yeah. Do you want to, shall I give my
elaborate.
opinion?
Yeah.
Okay, so my opinion on cancel culture?
Yeah.
Okay, so my opinion on cancel culture is I do think there is a place for it to a certain degree, but then on the other hand, I think I don't agree with it. So I'm kind of in the middle with cancel culture because I see pros and cons to the movement. So for example, if you're calling out someone or you're cancelling someone because of a tweet from 10 years ago, I think that's pointless. So that for me, like if they've said something offensive, I think everyone at some stage in their life has said something controversial or offensive. So I don't think we should be cancelling the average person or celebrities, to be fair. I don't think we should be cancelling anyone because of a tweet. For me, that's insignificant. But on the other hand, I do think we should be cancelling people because of their behaviour. For example, R. Kelly.
Okay.
So that's the only individual that I can think of that deserves to be cancelled. Because I think this is an individual that has a long track record of sexual abuse, sexual violence, domestic violence, etc., stemming back in 1994 when he illegally married Aaliyah. So I think the justice system hasn't come into effect. There's been no justice. So therefore people now need to empower themselves and do their little bit. And by doing that, they're cancelling him. So that is a tool. She really wants to chip in. She's very good now. But for me, I think yes, R. Kelly, mob rule. I'm all for it because I think that's a tool for social justice.
Okay. Have you cancelled Chris Brown?
I do not think that R. Kelly and Chris Brown are in the same category at all.
Can I just ask, why did you ask that?
I know why
I asked that question because to me, yes, R. Kelly has had a really long track record and there's been lots of questionable behaviour, and his songs kind of seem to really talk about, even listening to his music is problematic because he kind of touches on, we didn't know at the time, but now you kind of hear and think, things that clearly he might have been engaging in. But I asked that question because Chris Brown has engaged in some problematic behaviours. One of them really problematic against another celebrity. Obviously, he domestically abused Rihanna.
Who later
forgave him. But
so if she can forgive him, I can forgive him.
What about if R. Kelly's victims forgive him?
But they haven't forgiven him.
Okay.
And when we're talking about his
so for you, it's forgiveness.
No, it's not forgiveness actually. For me, I just think, okay, with Chris Brown, it was once that we know about. So you've done it the one time, she's forgiven you, we can move on.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's still very problematic. Okay. But I think with R. Kelly, how many people, like think about how many people that have come out. Like his own brother has spoken against him, his ex-wife has spoken against him.
So it's the
He's
scope.
had so many victims come out. And I just think we're going on 3 decades now. And I just think his behaviour is disgusting.
So for me, from the conversation you've just had, from what I understand, is that for you, Chris Brown, it was a one-off thing. It was a mistake. Yeah. And people are allowed to make mistakes, right? Whereas the difference with R. Kelly, it's a pattern of behaviour.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And he hasn't kind of been held accountable for it.
He's not been held accountable.
Whereas Chris Brown has actually apologised for it.
Yeah.
And Chris Brown didn't he admit it? He admitted it, he apologised.
And there were consequences.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Whereas with R. Kelly, he's a rich, very powerful man, and he's just gotten away with it. So I think, we need to definitely cancel him. And I have cancelled him. I don't listen to his music anymore because I just think he's a despicable human.
Okay. My opinion on cancel culture, I'm not a fan of it because I think that it just shuts down conversation. And I don't understand the purpose of it. I think sometimes it can be useful. I'm for it when we are cancelling big organisations. I'm not for cancelling individuals. Yeah, I totally agree with you. The point you made about people like going through people's tweets from 10 years ago and picking out something that they said that was offensive 10 years ago when they might have been a different person to the one they are now. That I don't see how that's helpful. I don't see the point of it. And then what we've seen happen is somebody will then apologise or lose their job or be taken off the platform, whatever it is sometimes. So in those cases I don't agree with it.
Is it because you're rather than educating the person, you're actually silencing the person? They still have those views. So there's no unlearning happening.
Exactly. There's no learning coming from it. There's no. It's not progressive.
No, it's
I
not.
think.
Yeah.
It's not constructive. It's destructive to do that.
Yeah.
And for instance, with companies, if you're putting out an ad that's sexist, that's racist, it would have had to go through a number of levels, right? Yeah. And for me, if you've gotten to the point where you've let out a sexist advert or a racist advert, for me, that's an indication of an institutional problem. Okay? That's why I think companies need to be held accountable because they have much more power than individual people. And they can actually change culture.
Okay. So let's say a company has put out a racist advert. You believe that the company should be cancelled?
Or they should, unless they actively show us, the public, what they are doing within their company to change.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like, for instance, Glow and Lovely.
Okay, yeah.
Glow and Lovely, all they did was change the name.
Yeah.
That's not good enough for me. Cancelled, you're cancelled. Until you come back at us with a plan. This is how we're going to make sure that colorism is no longer a thing in society.
What about okay, I completely agree with you on the organisations.
I didn't finish.
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, we have this problem all the time.
It's alright.
I want to pick up your point on Fair and Lovely in a minute, by the way, so can you remind me?
The thing with individuals, individuals, I'm thinking about in the US, if you get cancelled as an individual, and we saw various examples of this happening over the summer, over the lockdown period. People in supermarkets refusing to wear a mask, the video going viral, and then campaigns for those individuals not wearing their masks to be kind of gone after. Let me think of an example where I can actually think of an example. Amy Cooper.
Okay, yeah.
Amy Cooper, this Amy Cooper story. She was in the park. She called the police on, I think his name was Chris Cooper. He was also called Cooper. And she lost her job. She was cancelled. She lost her job. She lost her dog. You know what I mean? Loads of
I think
things
she eventually got her dog back, so don't worry, guys. She did get her dog back.
But in that, and actually, the guy that was filming her, the black guy, he was not happy with the way she was dealt with the way Twitter and Twitter culture and cancel culture and the way it went viral and the way everyone came at her.
Right.
He didn't like it.
He wanted her to be educated, is it?
He just said, now that's not what
What's
purpose
the
does it
purpose?
serve
Yeah.
of her losing their job now?
If anything, she's now going to associate the losing of her job and the dog with a black person.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to make her even more
But also
despicable.
in America, like somebody losing their job, they lose their health insurance, they lose their healthcare.
Yeah.
Right.
If you don't have a job, you don't have healthcare in the States, right? Also, you're blacklisted.
Yeah.
If it's gone viral on Twitter,
Yes.
now you are a normal person, Amy Cooper. You're not a celebrity. You haven't got a big
And this
profile.
has real repercussions.
Who knows how long this is going to affect her in their life. And I just feel like, obviously what she did was wrong, but is it fair for her to, because she's probably going to be suffering from this for years.
Yeah.
And that's not me defending her actions.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking at
The
it's
longevity
like,
of how this could...
it's like me
got
poking you, and then you,
Ow.
and then you punching me in the face.
Yeah. Disproportionate reaction.
Exactly.
I think for me, I'm somewhere like more maybe on the other end of you guys. I completely understand about not looking at tweets and things that people have said 10 years ago, 5 years ago, because people are very different and can be very different today. I do think, however, sometimes then I think there needs to be an element of cancelling, but I think it needs to be varied to fit the crime.
Yeah.
So for instance, you're absolutely right. I don't think that, looking at people's tweets and comments that they may have made needs to go on and be cancelled, lose your job, completely take away their platform. No, I think there should be a discussion about that.
Yeah.
Should they be cancelled for a time so that they can think back on and reflect on why they are, cancelled? I think so. But I think they should be allowed back out of the cage a little bit earlier than say other people. So for me, cancelling has a place, but it needs to be a proportionate cancelling to what's happened.
But who decides on who gets cancelled?
What's the criteria?
So this is where it gets difficult. I don't know. I'm just thinking of, for instance, cancelling people. Like if I'm just thinking of DeGeneres, who was cancelled and probably considered one of the biggest cancels of this year. So there were claims that have come out, people behind the scenes working with her, guests on her show, who said that she is absolutely the opposite of what she's like when she's on television. And we know her for being a comedian. She dances. She's really personable. Okay, that's not a crime, and I don't think you need to be cancelled for that. But at the same time, I think she needs to feel the sting of how she's treated people.
Yeah.
So we know, I say we know, we have the reports of how you treated people and reflect on why you might be cancelled, because that's not on.
Okay.
No, I don't think she should lose her show, and I don't think that should go on forever, but cancel her for a good few months.
My issue with cancel culture as well is that we're becoming increasingly intolerant of people that have different
I
opinions to us.
completely agree with that.
And I don't think that is a good thing. I think that, especially with politics, because there was a survey that found a couple of years ago that people are more divided along political lines than any other thing, more than religion, more than race. People are divided along
I can see that.
lines, and to the point where people are saying things like, "Oh, I can't be friends with that person; they're a Tory," or "I can't be friends with that person
not
because
healthy.
That I don't think that's helpful at all. And in the US,
because that is a form of personal cancelling, isn't it?
Yeah,
saying no,
absolutely.
I'm not gonna. Yeah.
And so now because somebody has different political views to me, I think they're a bad person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a bit.
And it's like, no, we can disagree with each other and we can have a conversation about it. I can still respect you as a human.
Yes.
But why do we have to cancel each other? If we all just keep cancelling people that have different views to us, then we're just always going to be consuming information that is just things we believe in.
And stroking our ego.
Yes.
Yeah, because we're only going to be hanging out with people that have the exact same views.
Exactly.
My worry is about the negativity of the word cancel. You're cancelled. What are we actually saying there? You failed to exist. We've wiped you off the face of the earth. Literally, you are silenced. I think that's really problematic. And thinking about how much awareness of mental health has become such a big focus and should be. I think that's where I take it. And I know that's contradictory because I just said people should be cancelled for a couple of months. But just thinking about it now, no, actually, because I do think that they should reflect on why people have had that reaction. But oops, cancelling is a bit of an issue because of the word cancel. Can't we say reflection time?
Okay, but what happens if we don't change the behaviour? And what happens if the justice system does not serve justice? Like, again, back to R. Kelly. So what do you do with people like that?
Right, that's a really good point.
So he's never been convicted. He's currently in prison, by the way, but he's never been convicted.
He's awaiting trial, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was arrested last year. He was dropped by his record label, but that's it. That's as far
But
as
is that cancelling or serving justice?
No, but justice has not been served.
But if justice is served, what's the need? Are we cancelling until justice is served? Is that?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
in my opinion,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Because justice has not been served. Therefore, I'm going to do my little bit, and I'm going to cancel you.
So.
And I think organisations such as Apple, Spotify, etc. should drop him. So his music shouldn't be played on their platform.
Okay.
So, which is something I was talking about you shouldn't be monetising and hit people where their pockets are, because we're not going to support you. You're not going to be
because
on a
your
public
behaviour is
platform
not acceptable.
because your behaviour is unacceptable. I agree. I agree. But that's such a big thing he's done, and there's such a track record, like you said. What about Ellen then, who's apparently mean to staff backstage? Do you think that, even though that's apparently been a persistent behaviour of hers that's gone unnoticed happening behind the scenes, does that require? Should she be able to employ people if she's not taking care of the well-being of her staff?
Yeah, she should be taking care of the well-being of her staff. I'm not going to disagree with that, but I don't think it doesn't merit a cancellation, in my opinion. Because also I do feel like with cancel culture, and we're going to get very tired of this term. I think soon. I think soon it's going to become like woke. You know how we feel about the term woke.
I agree.
I like the term woke.
But it's like it was a positive thing, and now it's it's increasingly when we think deeply about it, and how beneficial is it to society, to a progressive society? I don't think it's that beneficial.
And how often has cancelling of every day? You guys were talking about tweets and things that really are not as significant in the grand scheme of things. People bounce back all the time. They're back next week or next month.
Exactly. But also, what we have found as well with cancel culture is some people lose their platform. I touched on this earlier. So they'll tweet things that are offensive. Or considered offensive, and then they will be taken off Twitter. This has happened to a number of people.
Right.
Yeah, we know. We can think of a few examples.
A very recent one.
Exactly. What does that serve?
Yeah, again, you're just silencing them.
What purpose does it serve to take them off the platform? And the term is no platforming. Yeah?
I wonder if people would say it's a deterrence. So taking them off the platform is deterring other people who may now be inspired by, or feel like, okay, well, he's done it or she's done it, I can do it too. I don't know. Maybe some people feel like it's a deterrence. So if we cancel people and get rid of people on Twitter who've made offensive comments, other people will basically not do the same thing. I don't know.
Because what some people have said is that doing that, no platforming someone, is an attack on free speech. What do you think?
I agree to a certain extent. It is an attack on free speech, because you're just saying to this person still has the same views, but the difference is they're just not going to publicise their views. The views haven't disappeared. For me, I think you need to educate this individual. That's more meaningful than just taking away their Twitter platform.
But I think we need to agree that there's things to be learned from both sides. So even though I disagree with you, because I think sometimes it can be a bit patronising by saying we need to educate these people of you know.
Well, I mean, if you're racist, I'm sorry, I have nothing to learn from you. If you're a racist, you're a racist. Some things are just wrong.
But maybe learning their story, the story behind racism.
If it's I don't think there's always a story. I just think sometimes you're just socialised in an inadequate way.
Okay, I've got a question.
No, it's true. But if you're talking about, politics, I understand. Yes, we can sit down. I can sit down. I've got friends that are Tories. I've got friends that are Labour supporters. I can get some information from you. But if you're a racist or a sexist, I'm sorry, I don't think I'm going to learn much from you. So yes, I do think you need to be educated. You disagree?
No, I would just want to pipe in about Brexit. Because lots of people think, or there was this kind of idea that, Brexit, all the racists voted Brexit.
I disagree.
There was this idea, though, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, of course.
That's true.
Everybody who's against immigration and everybody who wants foreigners out.
That's wrong. Slough is one of the most diverse towns.
We hear about this all the time.
No, it's true. Slough is one of the most diverse towns in Britain, and it voted to leave.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think people in Slough are racist.
Like,
there are specific reasons why they wanted to leave. I want to stay. I
disagree and say we can learn from racists, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Yeah, hear me out. Because I think we need to learn why. Yeah?
Yeah.
If we are shutting down the conversation and you're saying, I'm not interacting with this person because they are a racist, I'm shutting them down, I'm taking them off their platform, they're a racist, I don't want to hear it, then, like you said earlier, they still have those views.
Yes.
Yeah? I think I have something to learn from them by talking to them and trying to find out why is it that you think in this way. And then, hopefully, I hope, maybe this is me being idealistic,
no, I agree
but
with you.
hopefully we can start to have a conversation where
Dialogue.
I can learn a bit about why this person feels this way, and then
Humanises
they
them a
can
bit.
learn exactly because they are humans.
Yeah, that makes sense now. So yes, you can have a conversation with them. For example, when I was talking earlier, I was thinking of someone saying the P word or the N word. I'm not going to learn or understand why you used a racial slur, but I'm hoping that you can learn from me. Why you shouldn't use it.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't use it, right? But you telling me why you think it.
But what about if you cancelled them before you?
No, I don't cancel people apart from R. Kelly. That's the only person I've. No, it's true. It's the only person I've ever cancelled.
Yeah.
I don't cancel the average person. I do not think the average person should be cancelled. I just meant in terms of I don't think I'm going to get anything from you. Of course, I am more than happy to sit down and have a conversation with you. But I'm. Again, it might sound patronising.
So you don't talk to them about it and you don't cancel them. So what's
I do talk to them about it. I don't cancel them.
But they have to learn from you.
They don't have to learn.
No, but the idea is that you have a conversation and you tell them about why it's wrong.
And they can have obviously the conversation.
But you don't feel like you have anything to learn, which is fine because they've obviously used, questionable language.
I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna say from a teaching perspective.
Yeah.
I read an article in the Daily Mail.
Oh God!
What were you doing
guys?
With the Daily Mail?
We need to read. We need to read things that we don't agree with sometimes.
Daily Mail is cancelled.
Not tabloids. Daily Mail.
I'll tell you why I was reading the Daily Mail while researching cancel culture, and an article came up from a couple of weeks ago. I think even maybe this week. About how now in schools, they're in the UK. As part of the Citizenship curriculum, PSHE curriculum, they're going to start teaching pupils about the impact of cancel culture.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And talking to people about not kind of shutting down people with controversial opinions.
Yeah, that's good.
And encouraging a conversation in classes and it made me really reflect about my job as a teacher and what we do. And obviously, people with views that are different or considered controversial, if we don't give them a space to talk about it in the classroom,
you're absolutely right,
and tell them it's wrong, what would the impact of that
be? You're absolutely right.
Children are malleable though, and children are more open to learning, isn't it? Whereas an adult can give you a whole load of, grief about something that you're just really trying to educate them on. I think it's difficult with an adult because it depends on how receptive. What about if people who are cancelled don't even want the conversation in the first place?
Maybe,
but
you're
we
right.
No, but I know what you're saying. We should give them this space.
Opportunity.
And also
absolutely.
humans make mistakes.
Yeah.
Humans make mistakes all the time. I think we'd all be lying to ourselves
Absolutely.
if we said we've never said something problematic.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
100%.
We all have prejudice. That's human nature, right?
Yeah.
And we've probably said things in the past that are offensive. We would all be lying to ourselves if we pretended that we didn't. So we've all made mistakes. We can all accept we've made mistakes. But you're telling me someone makes one tweet and we're like, off, go,
I
shut
disagree
down.
with that completely. I mean, I was reading, doing some reading, and I looked at a couple of people who were cancelled in 2020, and the list was exhaustingly long, and some of them were just so ridiculous. Demi Lovato for apparently making a fake profile. This has not been substantiated. Making a fake profile where she gets a hate profile where she hates on Selena Gomez. And that was
okay. That's sad.
Come on,
please reflect on your actions.
There we go, and it's things like that. It's like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
And I think it takes away from real, when we really need to cancel somebody. Absolutely, because it's like, what? And Jimmy Fallon was another one. So he did an SNL skit Saturday Night Live, where he did blackface and was pretending to be Chris Rock. He apologised profusely, and this is within his career, so it's not like it was 10 years ago, 5 years ago. That's why I asked you about, cancelling individual people isn't helpful. grown man.
Yeah. Age is a social construct, though.
He's putting on blackface in a time where he knows. It wasn't that long ago. He knows that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
That's when I say cancel for a time.
Yeah.
So that he can reflect on that, because that's ridiculous. No.
Yeah. I can't believe he did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but didn't Drake do that not too long ago?
So then Drake's part black. So it's this weird.
Yeah.
These parameters are set. These arbitrary parameters.
And who's
are set.
allowed to say what?
Who's allowed to say what?
Exactly.
Who isn't?
Yeah. And also, like, honestly, I feel like we pick and choose who we cancel.
Yeah, it's true.
Because
100%.
because if Donald Trump wasn't the president of the US, there's many things he's tweeted that could have been led to his cancellation. But there was an open letter that went out on the internet that was signed by 150 like prominent writers,
People in the entertainment industry.
or exploring the problem with cancel culture. They don't actually name cancel culture in the article. They don't use that wording, but when you read the letter, it's very clear what they're talking about. And one of the people that signed the letter was JK Rowling. Because, Hogan, do you want to talk about
So JK Rowling herself she's been cancelled a couple of times over the last couple of months, or year even, for offensive comments that people have found to be transphobic. She's actually addressed that. She's one of the signatories for the on the open letter in Harper's Bazaar, and her comments, interestingly, have split and divided opinion. So there's lots of people who think freedom of speech. There's absolutely no reason why we need to cancel JK Rowling, and then there are people who think absolutely not. Transphobic, and also she's apparently a bit of a repeat offender because she has really stuck to her guns with some of the things that she said. I don't know how I feel about the JK Rowling thing, because I think some of what she says makes sense when she's talking about there should be an open platform and we can't be so narrow that everything is cancelled.
Or everything being politically correct.
That we can't say anything at all. However, I do understand why her comments might be considered transphobic or considered offensive. But she's defended that, and she's obviously a world-talented, world-famous writer. I don't know. I think in terms of cancelling like her, what will it do? You know, people are still buying her books. She's still going to be successful. Taking down JK Rowling, how is that going to help? Because she's happy to have the conversation. She's willing to have the conversation. But it's people saying she should be allowed to have the conversation. Goodbye, done, disgusting behaviour from her. What do you guys think about that?
Lots of people did distance themselves from her, and obviously
including some of her Harry Potter.
Daniel Radcliffe did criticise her in some. It wasn't
outright, was it? And Emma Watson too.
But sometimes I feel like also when someone is cancelled, other people feel like they have to say something so that they can distance themselves from the person,
because
so
they
that
don't want to be
they're
cancelled.
They don't want to be cancelled themselves.
Which isn't always authentic.
Okay, I'm just going to read out a few extracts from the letter. So one part reads: the free exchange of information and ideas, the lifeblood of a liberal society, is daily becoming more constricted. As writers, we need a culture that leaves us room for experimentation, risk-taking, and even mistakes. We need to preserve the possibility of good faith disagreement without dire professional consequences. And for me, that...
I really like the use of good faith. It's that kind of honest discussion and having benefit of the doubt, isn't it? Allowing people to have the benefit, or giving people the benefit of the doubt. I think it's so cynical. I think the internet has become a force to be reckoned with, and Twitter and trending culture just can shut somebody. You can wake up one morning
and realise
that you've just been cancelled, and read all the horrible tweets that come with it, all of the different kind of commentary, and I think she's right. I really like that quote, because it's right. It's like, actually, people can disagree in good faith. It's been happening for centuries.
And I think that's the thing. That's where we can explore different ideas. We don't always have to agree with each other. We can passionately disagree, and that's fine. And I can still see you as a human that deserves to keep your job, or deserve,
So you're saying that no one should be cancelled?
I'm not saying that. I think there's a limit. I think there's some things you should never say. I think there's a line.
What's the line?
I think...
with me, is based on behaviour.
Yeah.
Not what's been said.
Yeah, for me, it's what's been said, it doesn't really affect me because it's just your words. I just think freedom of expression, say what you want to a certain extent,
You know
but I would cancel you based on your behaviour. If you've acted on, I don't know, a racist thought or whatever it is.
But what about somebody tweeting something that's clearly racist or clearly sexist?
And they won't take it back. What about people who, don't even, or you know that the apology is insincere? You could just see it. They haven't even written it themselves.
But there are racist people in society.
Yeah.
Like, we're always going to have racist people in society. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want to do? Cancel everyone?
Yeah, exactly.
So I just think, sorry, we're going to have bigoted individuals. That's just the world. Whereas behaviour, for me, that's outright. A different level now.
I always feel like the people we're like cancelling people. What you said in the beginning, organisations, come on, they should be hit the most.
Yeah.
And a lot of organisations do things that are absolutely ridiculous, despicable. Absolutely, not supportive of people racially, not supportive in terms of representation of women, etc. Why aren't they cancelled? Nothing ever happens. Oh yeah, H&M made a little black boy put on a jumper that said, the coolest monkey in the jungle, and nothing happened. It's like, probably got them more sales and more publicity.
So you believe H&M should have been cancelled?
Yeah, how do you cancel an entire organisation?
That's the thing.
That's difficult, but I feel like it always hits the most, it's not impactful. Individuals, and that's not impactful.
No.
Yeah, H&M there should have been something there.
Yeah.
But they're too big. How do you get people to organise and boycott?
Yeah.
And what happens to the people that are working in the shop?
Now we're boycotting them for no reason.
Yeah. That had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
So that's a tricky one, I think.
Yeah. It just took me back to what Lisa said at the beginning about organisations. That's, and Glow and Lovely should again be cancelled because changing the name didn't change anything.
Yeah. So Glow and Lovely, that's an interesting one because why should it be cancelled? Because it's skin lightening.
Yeah.
And can't people choose? I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Okay.
Can't people choose to buy a product or choose not to buy a product?
Choose to buy the product or not buy the product.
Yeah, you're not forced to buy.
Don't call it Fair and Lovely. That's you should be cancelled for that.
The point is that they are manipulating people with advertising.
Yeah, that's true.
They are feeding this narrative that to be lighter skin is to be more beautiful, and
shouldn't that deserve a cancel?
That's the problem, isn't it?
Should it be cancelled or should they change the advert?
Because
this is the criteria, this is what you need to do. Yeah.
But who tells them that? And also, this is what they've done. Glow and Lovely, they've changed the name. The ingredients haven't changed. Everybody remembers what it does. Yeah. It's still the same thing. They've just, it's insincere.
Yeah.
And so, they might have been on the verge of cancel. Yeah, but they haven't done anything.
Yeah.
Glow and Lovely, how does that change anything?
It's also very it's insulting our intelligence, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's like we know you haven't changed. You've done nothing to address this problem. For me, what I would like them to do is come up with a plan. Show me your plan, exactly what you're going to do in the countries where you make the most money.
Yeah.
Where you're going to
How are you going to change the adverts?
Yeah.
How are you going to change the narrative?
Exactly.
Yeah,
how are you going to educate?
But it's a business. They don't want to do that.
Exactly, but
it's a skin lightening business.
But that's what they should do. That would make me feel like they've actually.
But is that you pushing? I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I obviously agree with you guys, but is that you pushing your opinion on an organisation? You should be doing this.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but you should be cancelled.
But why should you be cancelled?
Because you are perpetuating colorism. And you're actually making it seem like if you're not going to use these products, you are not beautiful. That's dangerous. Why should you have that? Why should we allow that rhetoric? And why should we allow a company to put that kind of message out there? No, you're cancelled. If you're cancelled, you can't sell your products. Yeah. Essentially.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, and if you can't sell your products,
so now you're telling people what they can and can't use. For me, that's the issue.
It's
people should make up their own choice. I'm not going to tell you what you can and can't use.
Yeah.
You make up, you're a grown adult, you use whatever you want to use. Do you know what I mean?
What about saying that you perpetuate colorism then? Be honest about your... Why not change the name, or don't change the name and say...
Okay, for example, I'm thinking of smoking. So when you buy a pack of cigarettes now, they've got like a little picture of lungs and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of that. So you want me to do something like that?
Yeah. Show people's skin.
Okay,
You're right. Show people's skin what it looks or can look like after they've used it. Yeah. Absolutely, because this is if we do that, you're right, I didn't even think of
the
that.
detrimental effects, because they do show that now. They show like a dark-skinned person and a light-skinned person. The light-skinned person happens to be the pretty and happier person. Yeah. Maybe it should reflect reality. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, and you should now show the detrimental effects just on
like
the skin.
Yeah, okay. Side effects, massive side effects. What are they?
Yeah.
And also
side effects. I absolutely agree with that. Yeah, they should do that legally.
But don't you think cancelling them
products have side effects?
Yeah, so like exposure to the sun. Yeah.
Okay.
But also, what about?
I think take it off the shelves.
What about?
But then my issue is you're telling people how they should.
But people only want it because of their rhetoric. If you get rid of this advertisement,
but there's so many different companies, not just Fair and Lovely.
But I'm saying, if you take that off the shelves and you stop allowing them to show happy people who are really light and the sad people who are really dark, and how the life is
bringing rules.
Exactly,
advertising.
Absolutely, bring in rules.
Yeah, bring in rules. I'm all about that, but I just don't.
And
think
they show the
should be
detrimental
cancelled.
effects. But
because
you should be
cancelled
on an ethical level. You should be cancelled because it's the wrong message.
But then so should the person that's racist. You should be cancelled. But we've just said you shouldn't be cancelled.
And if it's an institution, you should be cancelled too. I know it's difficult, but individual racism, mate, you're insignificant in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, okay, I'm not going to talk to that person, they're a racist, but I don't care about them losing their job or whatever, unless it has an impact. They're a police officer, now I care, because now they have an impact. Yeah. Those views can actually have an impact on behaviour and therefore disadvantage groups of people.
So if you're a police officer and you're racist, you should be cancelled?
You should lose your job, because you can't apply rule of thumb fairly.
Exactly, there's a lot of police officers that are racist. What's that documentary?
Yeah,
we'll include a link. It's
The Secret Policeman.
The Secret Policeman.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
But that's where the institution needs to work to change the culture within the institution.
I agree with you. I don't think the individual police officer should be cancelled.
So you don't think so you're going to work for the police force, which is supposed to protect the people. You've got racist views that can manifest themselves in the way you stop and search people of colour. No, go. You shouldn't be working there. No,
I agree that you shouldn't be working there, but the fact is we know that there's so many people that.
But I'm saying
that's whole policing.
No, and if you're found to have done that, if you're found to have made racist comments, if there's proof, categorical evidence, you're out. You should be out. Bye.
Okay, so Prince Harry called his Pakistani friend his little P friend. The P word is a racial slur. I don't recall Prince Harry being cancelled.
Yeah. No.
But this is that whole thing about selective cancelling.
Yeah.
That's selective cancelling. We didn't cancel him, God knows why. I would have cancelled him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why some people get cancelled and others not. It's a power thing as well.
It is a power thing. I wouldn't have cancelled him.
You wouldn't have cancelled him?
No. Just like with the police officer, I wouldn't cancel a police officer. I just think you need to have a conversation.
That's really interesting. And
because I think it's like what you said. I think it's the culture.
You made me think. The reason why I cancelled that is because I believe it's malicious. But it's probably not. Do you know what I mean? The reason why I'm so strict, like saying cancel anyone, because in my mind, as somebody who doesn't use racial slurs, wouldn't use racial slurs, to me it's like an intent. It's malice when you use it.
This is when he was working in the armed forces, so I think it's an institution problem.
Yeah. I think you're right. What JK Rowling said about in good faith, because I did give him good faith there. Yeah. I went no, cancel, whatever.
And we have an emotional
response.
Reaction. Yeah. Straight away, we have an emotional reaction, and we instantly assume that the person was ill-intentioned. Mm-hmm. And yes, they may well have been, but I think
even if you weren't, that's still a racial slur. So
it is a racial slur.
Absolutely,
he shouldn't be saying it. But also, we know that there are people that use racial slurs every day that think there's nothing wrong with it because they don't realise or they don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's why we need to have these conversations to be like, that's not cool. You can't say this.
I agree.
What about friends and personal relationships? Cancel culture there. Do you think that's something that happens, or do you think that's just mainly because in the beginning I said it was more of a celebrity thing because we don't tend to cancel people in our personal relationships, but I was just making a generalisation there. I think cancel culture has caught on even in our personal lives because we're using the language that we see. Oh, so and so is cancelled. Or I'm cancelling her. She's cancelled to me. He's cancelled to me. What do you guys think that's problematic in personal relationships? With a friend, that has I think you can actually have a real big impact on somebody and their emotional well-being. So I think it's more dangerous when you're cancelling individual people that you'll actually speak to.
Yeah. Us choosing to have this conversation here really, really made me reflect on my own behaviour because I feel like this cancel culture has really caught on with people in friendship groups, in the workplace, in just how we communicate with each other in society, and it's made me think of I definitely will sometimes look at people, and I might hear their views or whatever, and I'll think, yeah, I'm not going to be friends with that person. Just because they've said one thing that I disagree with.
Yeah,
and that's not helpful, I don't think. I don't think that's a good thing.
Absolutely. I try really hard, we've spoken about this before, I try really, really hard not to write people off. Only because the last couple of years I found myself writing people off based on their political views. So I try really, really hard to actually make friends with people who are very different to me in terms of political views, because I don't want people to be around me that are just have the exact same opinion as me and are just stroking my ego. I'm not learning anything. I was saying to you earlier that I played devil's advocate with myself because I really like to, it's true, because I like to really try to understand the other side of the opinion. So I try my best not to cancel people on an individual level.
And the culture that we have now with social media, everybody consumes their news over social media. Okay, yes, we might go to a news site, but usually lots of people get their news on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, whatever it is. And we need to realise that we are getting fed information that we generally agree with, because the way the algorithm works, the way you search, what you type, what you look for, the things you watch,
to your
are
needs,
tailored to what you will most likely click on and engage with. So, guys at home, people at home watching, everyone here, like really try to go against that. Watch things that you disagree with. Follow people on social media that you will disagree with, because just so you get not just one dimensional perspective, you want to get as many I think it makes us more empathetic as human beings if we can understand other people's points of view and not just write them off as, oh, you're a terrible person, you think differently to me. That's what I think.
I like that. I think that's amazing. I think in terms of cancel culture, I think we need to be a little bit more responsible with the word cancel, personally. And I think that I don't want to do a tokenistic thing like Fair and Lovely, where you change the word fair to glow, or change cancel to something equally detrimental. I think people's mental health is really important, and some people might be more resilient than others, but I think it's really important not to really be nasty and malicious with cancel culture, because I think that doesn't, to me, people's well-being is important, and I think cancel culture.
People are always going to make mistakes. We've all made mistakes. That's life.
And also, even if people are racist or they've done things, I don't think that we need to make them feel awful about themselves. Or feel awful that you're a racist or whatever, but like to the point where you can't leave your house, or you can't leave your house. You can't live your life. I think that's too much, too far. Closing thoughts. Yes to cancel culture and no to cancel culture.
Like I said before, I think there is a place for cancel culture based on people's behaviour. If they're a repeat offender, goodbye, don't let the door hit you on the way out, all of that jazz. But I think if it's based on an opinion, if it's based on a tweet, I think just freedom of speech, let people say what they want to say. Because they're thinking it anyway, it's more meaningful to actually have a conversation with that person.
And I think cancelling people isn't constructive. And I think we need to be opening up space for more progressive conversations instead of just shutting down opinions that we don't like. Because like Farah said, people are still going to have the opinions they have, and it just forces them to go underground if we don't give them a platform.
And causes things like fragmentation in society.
Exactly. And it makes us more divided.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alright guys, let us know your thoughts and your opinions on cancel culture. Have you ever been cancelled? Why?
Or have you cancelled someone?
Or have you cancelled somebody?
And tell us why.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.